Welcome to the Julie Jeppson podcast. I'm here with Katie Mart, and I don't know are you okay if I show them what you're sitting in?
Yes,
You guys.
please.
She is killing it in her wheelchair.
This is Reggie.
Where did Reggie come from?
I've always kind of just named my chairs, and Reginald just seemed like it fits. So Reginald it
That's
is.
his full
So,
name. I was introduced somewhat by my friend Jolene to Katie and her amazing family, and especially her amazing mother. So tell us a little about, first of all, where you were born, what your condition is. Give us some back history.
So I was born in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania in November 1997. I don't know if that's super needed, but
so you're
26, just turned 26. And at 3 days old, I was placed in the family of Chris and Sally Mart. Yep, I was left at the hospital by a very young mom. And she had come and delivered me and left pretty soon after delivering me. But I was born with Spina Bifida, and I used this wheelchair to assist me to move around. Spina Bifida is just when your spine doesn't fully develop inside your body. And so all of the nerves that run from that spot in my spine down is paralyzed. So my legs can't move and I don't have feelings is the simple way of putting that. So
but that's all you know, right?
Yeah.
So you've never felt your legs?
Yep. As soon as she got that call that third day in the morning, she was over there that afternoon.
And your mom, let's just get right into that real quick.
Yes.
How many kids in total? She couldn't have children.
She
of
couldn't.
Her own.
Mm-hmm.
So how many total did she adopt, foster, or whatever?
So she adopted 17. So I am one of 17. So I have 16 siblings. I have 9 brothers, 7 sisters.
Oh my!
So 9 and 8. But
that's a pretty mom right there.
It was amazing.
They all had a special need of some kind.
Yep. In some degree, whether it was learning, mental, physical, emotional, all was within our house at all times.
Oh my gosh.
And managing all of that.
Holy moly. Okay, so when did you join the family?
So I joined the family, I believe, this is always fuzzy. I believe I was 10.
Number 10.
I believe I was 10. Now I have older siblings that were adopted after me, but only 2, if that makes sense. So age and when I came in are different because of that.
What's that like when a new one comes in? Is that
it's exciting.
It's fun and exciting.
Oh.
Does it change the dynamic?
There's 6 below me, but she and I are just 5 years apart. So 6 in that 5 years, right? So it's very back to back. And so
I'm sitting here saying, geez, but I'm like, wait, I had 5 kids in 6 years.
6 years.
And I'm like, no
way.
Wait a minute.
You get it.
Oh my gosh.
All back to back.
Bless
very
my
much.
Heart. Oh my heck. Okay, so, and why did she do that? Did she feel, did they know why she couldn't have her own children?
Yeah, they, as far as I know, were not sure. She had 9 miscarriages.
Oh my gosh, just in a row.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just by their 12th year of marriage, it was about 9, and then my first brother came along, her 12th year of marriage. So, and then we all filed in.
Yes. Okay, so tell me the conditions of each of those kids.
Okay, so I have a sister that's legally blind. I have a brother with limb deformities. There's 3 of us with spina bifida, and in varying degrees.
What's your degree?
So mine is actually best case scenario. So I'm in that teeny tiny percentage that doesn't have anything wrong with my brain. Yes, cerebral palsy. I have another sister, my youngest sister Logan. She also had a problem where she was going blind, but they fixed it through surgery, so she was fine outside of that. And then there was a handful of my siblings that had like ADHD, really bad emotional and mental things with abandonment and just with like depression, anxiety, and autism. And there was, I think there's 4 or 5 within that. she always said she felt like it was her calling.
Wow.
And she always felt this kind of depth and empathy for the kids that would come. And she always accounted it to God. God is calling me and kind of placing within my responsibility and care his kids.
Okay, but let's talk real and raw here, because this is what this is all about. How did she do that and not go insane?
Yeah.
Because my kid, I have a clubfoot kid, right? And he's fine. And we have kids that fight, and one of my boys has a minor intellectual disability. But this is major stuff.
Major.
This is 3 cases of spina bifida, and yours is best case scenario, and you're in a wheelchair. That's a lot.
Huge.
And then the blindness, ADHD, and then autism. Was it severe?
Yeah.
Ugh. And then limb deformities. Was he in a wheelchair also?
He was.
How is she taking people to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Does she have? And she's got. I can't even. I'm feeling flustered.
It's a lot to take in. It's a lot. And there's a couple elements that I will say. I really feel like my parents were just blessed with the spirit of strength and of lack of sleep being able to carry through, right? And we can kind of go into my mom's cancer diagnosis and the blessings from that when that happened.
I can't handle it.
Yeah. But community is huge. Community is, I had something come up and I need to call my visiting teacher or someone within my church community and ask her to go out to the bus stop and bring my kids into the house. The community aspect is so huge.
So you remember the Octo mom?
Yes.
And how she got ripped on, right? Did your mom get that? Did she get flack from people?
Oh yeah.
I'm sure, right?
Sure. It never was something that us kids really grasped, because she handled it either alone or just filtered through it, and she knew what she needed to do.
What was the most challenging for her, do you think? What was the hardest part about it, and then maybe the best part about it?
I would say the emotional, for lack of a better word, baggage that comes with bringing kids in that are adopted, that come from different backgrounds. There was siblings that were addicted to drugs, and that affected them, obviously. You care for a child that is addicted to drugs in a totally different realm than you do with a kid with spina bifida or that is blind or that is.
And were they addicted to drugs as infants?
Yeah.
They were. So they were just like little drug babies, right?
Little drug babies.
And they're having to go through withdrawal.
Yeah, withdrawal. Totally different realm. So I would say the emotional things. The emotional things were intense.
And then your dad is a surgeon.
Yes.
So he must have been gone a lot.
Pediatric cardiologist. Yes, lots.
Oh my gosh. But probably super helpful when you guys were sick.
Yeah, he'd be able to bring our flu shots home instead of my mom having to take us all to the pediatrician. And, he was able to do a lot of those things.
And do you think that your dad was just always on board?
Always. And the biggest support and person to back up my mom with whatever she felt was right for she had such a keen spirit of love and attentiveness to her kids and family that, again, blessed from God that she had those things. And my dad, all right,
no way,
make it happen. And that's another thing, right? As members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we get an opportunity to get sealed as a family. And I went to 10 of my siblings sealing, and so the temple was actively there, and I was it's our comfort place, right? My parents never wasted any time getting us sealed. None. Just as soon as possible, as soon as adoption papers and everything is settled. One of them, his name's Aaron. We call him Bubba. He was great. He had Down syndrome. Okay. He essentially aspirated on his food. It was right during COVID. He was 18.
Dang it.
My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, had a total mastectomy, and did treatments with her cancer for years. And then continued to stay on oral chemo till it had come back. her chemo that she was on for 11 years
Oh my gosh.
made it so she had hot flashes every 30 minutes. So she did not sleep, essentially, is what I'm saying. And she was like, okay, maybe I don't need sleep. Will you just bless me to be able to function on 2 hours of sleep? Done. You know?
No way.
And she functioned on little sleep. And God really, really took care of her in that way.
And preserved her life.
Oh, for years. For us kids. And then in 2014, she said she called it her freak accident. She essentially tripped and broke her arm. And it was so fun. Talk about gritty, okay? She trips and we're like, oh my gosh, are you okay? She's on the phone with insurance, by the way, ordering our medical supplies. Okay, I remember I was sitting right by her. We're like, oh shoot. So we react to go standard. She's like, no, don't touch me. Don't touch me. I broke my arm. I just felt it crack. So she gets up and she's like, go get a jacket. Go get a jacket. So my sister goes and gets a jacket. She puts the jacket around her arm. She's like, call your dad. Tell him I broke my arm and I need to go to the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
She proceeds to do 2 loads of laundry because she's like, I don't know how long it's going to be at the hospital. Makes us dinner. My dad drives home from Salt Lake, about an hour, hour and a half. Takes her. But in between that, she's doing laundry. We're like, what can we do? You know, like, she's like, we're fine. Let's all act normal, right? She was trying to like keep the peace, keep the calm.
I mean, I'm just thinking because I
Gritty.
broke my wrist. I broke my wrist, and I was
really?
like, I mean, I'm like trying not to use the word handicapped because I'm like, how can I say that?
No.
What's the right word that I say? I was incapacitated, like debilitated. I could not do anything. I mean, I was in pain.
Oh, and the adrenaline and the pain and the
yes.
everything just. She passed in August of 2015. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know her outside of her hot flashes, outside of her chemo, outside of her being sick, essentially. The most chaotic. That's the time in my life where I feel like my PTSD and my trauma from that, because that's very real things that existed, right? It's fuzzy for me. My whole life just.
Oh my gosh.
Right. Exploded.
And how comfortable are you talking about, like, what has happened since? Like, she's been gone since 2014.
Yeah.
You're now out of the house living on your own.
Yeah.
You have a job.
Dear. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
like, you work full-time, right?
Yeah. I have a couple different jobs. I go to Utah Valley University, actually. And I'm finishing my teaching degree, so I'm being an elementary school teacher. Now, during that time, because I was leaving, my siblings that were home needed to be transitioned into group homes to be taken care of. Because it wasn't something, it was always a team effort with my mom and dad. Taking a piece of that out for somebody that's grieving and is traumatized and changed his life was not possible. And it was kept on with during that year with community. Right. With help, with everyone else that stepped in.
That only lasts for so long, too.
So long?
Yeah.
And I had lost my mom, but I also lost my dad.
Because he's grieving. He's not the same person.
Yep. And it is so painful for him. All he could think to do was shed the life he knew and took care of, which was coupled with us kids, unfortunately, and a lot of emotional
It's like ways. You guys... He looked at you and saw, and it was painful.
It was me. I mean, it was my mom, right?
So he's not really in the picture very much.
No. No. And that was quite the transition, right? And me being adopted, I'd already experienced abandonment. And so I'm going through that again, right? And my mom's power and spirit and love was so encompassed and so present with God and relying on Jesus Christ. That's what I learned from her. You know,
so she taught you to have like this divine relationship.
Yeah. And that is why it gets me by.
Yeah.
And God is God, but he's God the Father and is my Father. And that is plenty for me. That's when I discovered.
With Jesus, I'm like, I lost my groom, but he's my bridegroom. Right. I mean, you guys are legally adopted. Like, he is your dad. But you've also been sealed. So it's like a blow.
Yeah, big blow. And it's not my thing to fix.
Yes.
Thankfully, because we know Jesus, he will come and fix that. And it's not a me thing. And it's not a me thing that my dad chose to leave either.
Just today, something very, like, climactic to this story happened. Okay, we're talking about dads. She's now been abandoned essentially by both of them and only has Heavenly Father and Jesus to rely on. But what happened today?
So, as of, an hour and a half ago, I have had contact with my biological father.
And you've never talked to him?
He didn't know I existed.
He didn't know she existed.
He adds me, he's like, "Hey, Katie, seems like I might be your biological."
Like, so happens.
Seems to be. Yeah.
No way.
So yeah, we've been talking all day and really made the connection.
Does he seem like
tonight.
a lovely person?
Lovely.
Really?
Yeah, and he's gonna call me tomorrow.
No way.
Yeah. So stay.
And did he say
tuned.
I'm sorry, I didn't even know?
It was his very first words to me.
What did he say?
Were, "I'm so sorry for the hurt and confusion and anything negative you might be experiencing over the last 26 years that I might have unknowingly caused you." Because he unknowingly, yeah.
Oh my God.
But he's sorry for it. And he was like, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, I actually have no, I can't afford hard feelings.
Oh, I love that.
I can't afford them. They're not worth it to me.
Yes.
And I've had that tug and pull with my adopted dad, right? Already.
Yes.
And I can't afford any more of them.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So do you have biological half siblings?
I do.
You do?
I do. I have 3 brothers. So it was funny.
So she's got 20.
I have 20 now. Yes. Essentially. Well, my birth dad was like, "I didn't know I could ever have a girl or it was ever possible." I'm like, here I am, and I'm his oldest. So
no way.
Yeah. So I know love exists. Even if it's painful love.
Yes.
This brother of mine from Honduras, he was there in the orphanage, and I have another brother that also was from an orphanage in Russia. Very same experiences. Was treated like dirt.
I'm sure.
Yeah. In absolutely every way. And when those are your foundations growing up, you never learn to seek, know, experience love. Yeah. And because of that, and when it was expressed to my brothers, they became so unable to handle anything but anger and pushback and mental and emotional just turmoil, that it became very difficult for them to function within a household that was loving. Jeez. And that met their needs and their safety, right?
It's like something's off for them. Mm-hmm. Like
this is not normal. Yes. And it's hard for us that do have normal to fathom that. Right. There was an experience where he, to the point of put one of my other siblings' life too close to the edge, in a really, really difficult, hard way. And my mom said, "This is not," and this is a brother that cannot, no, he can speak, but he was not able to defend himself. He can't
the one that
move
was in
his
trouble,
arms.
like the one that was being
the victim, essentially.
Yeah.
And so, and my mom happened to have a thought to go in and check on them because they were playing together in the room. And she walked in on this.
Oh dear.
And at the pivotal time, it was best for him to take the state help and things that he needed to be placed in another home.
Yes. Well, Katie, I'm so glad you came, and like this was enlightening, and your mom sounds like just a freaking powerhouse. Oh. And your dad, I mean, we all have our breaking points.
Yes.
And the fact that you have this grace, this painful love, this ability to forgive because you don't want to hold on to it.
It's not mine to hold.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's inspiring to me because I need to let go of the baggage that I'm holding, which turns into resentment and turns into bitterness and pain, because forgiveness is more for ourselves.
Has to be.
Yeah. I'm not good at it, so you've inspired me.
Thank you.
There was a time, Stephanie, when I felt a little bit cheated because I've had some miscarriages, but I hadn't had the experience of going through labor and giving birth, And I can tell you in all sincerity that if I could turn the clock back, I wouldn't change anything. One of the things I've learned is that I will never, ever again take my sight for granted. My ability to talk, to express myself, my ability to play volleyball or basketball or any other sport, my ability to do anything.